Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Morning Joe with me, Jim. And so I wanted to acknowledge something first, and that is if you watch the news, economic news, that is, especially probably any news, um, it's not generally positive, right? We've got the war, we've got energy crisis, we've got what else do we have? A recession on the horizon, of course, which has been on the horizon for months now. I don't know if we're ever going to get there or not, but nonetheless, that's in the news a lot these days, as well as a couple other things. I've noticed that cars are being financed at the longest term in the history of cars and at the average highest cost per month, right? And I think it's $775 is the average car payment now, or 772 or something like that. And it's 72 plus months is the longest. Now here's the other piece of that. And I'm teeing this up for a reason because I think we have an anecdote or a solution. Here's the other side of that. I've also read that car repossessions are rising and expected to continue to rise quite a bit. In fact, a lot of reasons behind that. Some of them are kind of nefarious on the part of car finance companies to take on new debt and let the old stuff get repoed, right? Pardon me, not cool. Not cool at all. Actually, it'll ruin the credit of those who do that. But hey, another day for another story. And then there's the housing market, right? And if you look at some headlines, it's like, well, we're teetering on. But if you really look at the data behind it, home prices are expected to continue to rise because of supply and demand. We're still in the seller's market, believe it or not. For all the news that would indicate otherwise, we're still in a seller's market. Technically, a buyer's market is 4.6 months of supply, right, to even out supply and demand. We're not there. We're much less than that. So what's the positive light? Well, the positive light is, I've been saying for several months, we're heading toward, it looks to me like 5% interest rates. Remember, just a month and a half ago, we were at 7.5%. So 7.5% interest rates really do hamper what you can qualify for. 5% does compared to 2.5% or 3%, where we were about a year and a half ago, year and 3/4 ago. But nonetheless, it's coming into a balanced market. It's a real market, right, with 5% interest rates. And we're heading toward that. Right now, we're about 6%, give or take. You, with a certain loan program and a certain credit score, you might be 6.25%, you might be 5.875%, but somewhere close to 6% is where we are right now. And I think we're heading down. So why is that good news? Well, if you're in the market right now, it's good news because you can get in to the market. There's just yesterday we had someone who had, I think there were 3 other offers, total of 4 offers, I guess, on this place. That's not happening as much anymore. It still happens, but we're combating it as best we can and getting there. But you can get a home, right? Whereas a year and a half ago, forget about it, as they say. That was a terrible accent. But you can get into a home and refinance later. Because here's what's going to happen. It happens every time. It's not hard to predict. It's just looking at the tea leaves and reading them, right, a little bit. What's going to happen is when we reach 5, and if we reach 4 point something, 4.875, if we do that, it's going to be all over the news. Oh, the housing market is hot again. Let's go. And a whole lot of people who are kind of half paying attention on the sidelines are going to jump into the housing market. And that will drive home prices higher. So that'll drive home prices up. Right now, you have the opportunity to get into a home. In many, many cases right now, contracts coming in across my desk and into our office that we're helping the home loan, do the home loan. I'm seeing that the seller is paying at least some closing costs, if not all. So you can potentially get the seller to pay closing costs. You can get a price on a home that's going to be fixed, and then just plan on refinancing when rates do go down. I mean, it's simple. People have done it for years and years and years. And refinancing, this is the question I get asked a lot. Well, doesn't it cost? Well, yeah, there's closing costs. We can do a no closing cost refinance. The way that works is very, very simple. You increase the interest rate a little bit. All that yield goes to the homeowner to pay closing costs. You're kind of paying them either way. But what normally happens is we go to par rate or even below par and pay points, but roll that into the new loan. Maybe you pay an appraisal out of pocket, right? But everything else potentially gets rolled into the new loan, so long as the equity is there. And so there's nothing out of pocket, save maybe an appraisal, something like that. On a government loan, you might have to bring your escrows to set up a new escrow account and then wait for the refund of your current escrow account. That's a good topic for another day, actually. I think I'll talk about that. Probably talk about that as rates go a little bit lower and refinances start. So I've been telling every home buyer that I've worked with over almost the past year, if you can avoid it, don't pay points. Now, in some cases we can't avoid it, but if you can avoid it, don't pay points. Take the higher rate right now and then wait to refinance, because that opportunity is coming, and it's coming pretty quickly. And I think, actually, I know all have kind of heeded that advice, and now we're coming close. We're probably a few months off from being able to refinance where it makes sense to pull the trigger and do that refinance. They're in the home, they fix the price, and now they're lowering. So what's the message of, and they're lowering the payment, right? What's the message of hope? Well, it's right around the corner. I mean, we've been seeing it and reading on the tea leaves for a while that rates were going to go up. They peaked on November 10th, 9th, and now they're trending back down. It's never a straight line either way, but the trend is down. And I think that will continue until we get to about 5%, and then pull the trigger and refinance because you're already in the house, building wealth, building equity. I hope that helps. And if I can help with a pre-approval today, I'd love to. That's what we're here for. So, and we have time to get a pre-approval solid before Christmas if you want to start looking like right after Christmas. Have an awesome day. I will talk to you